Hello, welcome to Season 3 of the Zombie Dance Party. This is a video series based in the game 7 Days to Die, released by the Fun Pimps. I'm your host, Hive Tyrant 424, and I've been playing 7 Days to Die since around December of 2018. I've logged about 1,500 hours since I started, back in Alpha 9, I think it was. Now, the game has evolved a lot since then. It's virtually a different game from when I first started playing. This latest alpha, number 19, has seen some massive improvements, which I'm very much enjoying. My series is going to focus on how I play and how I build. Now, much of how I play is experience, though I have seen a few videos on YouTube, but I've learned some things from others what to do, and I've also learned a lot of what not to do from watching these videos. Now, I'm not claiming to be an expert on the game. There are players who know far more than I do, and the people who create content for Twitch and YouTube almost all know more about this game than I do. And I started playing 7 Days to Die because I sustained a serious injury to my leg that ended my career as a long-haul truck driver. I've spent more than a year and a half homebound in recovery, and I was accustomed to working 16 hours a day. A guy can only sleep for so many hours a day, so it didn't take very long for a zombie enthusiast like me to find 7 Days to Die, and from the first time I played, I was hooked. So why do I call my series the Zombie Dance Party? Well, a big part of my day at work was driving, and I would always have music playing. I spent almost 10 years like that. Music is a huge part of my life. So I play music when I'm mulching the hordes of the undead. I've built many different bass designs, and as soon as I discovered the electrical traps and I figured out how to use them, I fell in love with them, especially the electric fences. My layouts have changed, but I always use fences because they're so much fun, and watching the zombies being electrocuted is like watching them dance. And there you have it, the Zombie Dance Party was born. I recorded 2 seasons of the Zombie Dance Party back in Alpha 18, and they were modestly successful. The trouble was that I used copyrighted music in every episode, and so each of my videos were flagged for copyright violation, and eventually I took them offline. I'm not producing these videos to make money. I don't care if I ever get monetized by YouTube, but I do want my channel to grow, and I suspect the YouTube algorithm doesn't promote videos they can't advertise in. Also, one of the changes in Alpha 19 was the dynamic music in the game. Normally I turn off in-game music for all the games I've played, but I gave the new dynamic music in Alpha 19 a listen, and it's actually really great. For this season, I've chosen the random world generator, and I'm using a world seed called Fierce Cinerin that I found online. Normally I just type in random words for the world seed, but my last game, which took my multiplayer server almost 10 hours to build before I could even play in it, and the map was, it didn't really have any big cities in it or any really cool POIs, very few of the new POIs. So I decided to try a seed that someone else had done to see if it made the game more enjoyable. Now eventually I'd like to evolve my channel into a live stream, showcasing my gameplay. A streamer I've come to enjoy a great deal is called Spartan. Here's his name on the screen. I will provide a link to his channel in the description of this video, in case you want to see his games. He's an excellent player, really funny guy, and his stream shows are always entertaining. He even does one episode a week with his wife, and the two of them together are hilarious. So I hope you check him out as well. Just tell him Hive Tyrant sent you. Anyway, Grand Spartan has said in several of his video streams that he won't watch recorded video of gameplay in 7 Days to Die because if you make a mistake or you get killed, you can just restore your backup save game files and film again like it never happened. I know some content creators do that, but I'm not one of them. I think it's dishonest to try and convince your viewers you never make a mistake. Nobody plays this game into Blood Moon 105 without dying once, and honestly, if you were that good, the game would get terribly boring, I would think. So you will see me die. Probably a lot at the beginning because every time I start a new game, I forget I'm not perked and geared, and I try things that I could get away with when I'm level 100, but I'm far less successful pulling those stunts at level 10. You won't see every one of my deaths, but I will show you that I do make mistakes, I do die, and they're generally as entertaining as the gameplay itself, so you will see it happen eventually. I'm just going to finish up my starting quests here. As much as I'd prefer to just skip them, you do get 4 perks for completing them, and you really need those. I am going to take Lucky Looter 2 and increase my perception to take rank 3 when I level up. I know there's a lasting debate online about the value of Lucky Looter, especially in Alpha 19, but I've tried games without taking it, yes, including Alpha 19, and the loot I get just isn't as good. I know that the RNG does play a big part in that, but I stand by my choice. I'll leave it at rank 3 for a while and focus on some other perks and attributes that I think are necessary for survival, like Miner 69er to make better tools, Mother Lode for higher mining yields, and of course the Intellect perks for engineering, and Grease Monkey for vehicles. They've made a lot of changes to the health system and the stamina system. You burn stamina a lot faster, at least it seems that way. And being able to get around quickly is a pretty big advantage, so I'm going to try and get onto a bike as soon as I can. Normally I skip the bicycle and go straight to the mini bike, but I think the other games I've played, I've gone to the bicycle just to be able to get around more quickly without using my stamina as much. So I'm all done with my campfire quest, and as soon as you complete that one, you get your 4 perks to spend, and you get sent to a trader. Now you can see in the corner there that my trader is 1 kilometer away. I know that doesn't sound like very far, but it is a really long way when you have, an expendable stamina bar that burns as quickly as they seem to now. Of course, as you can see at the very bottom of the screen there underneath my toolbar, I do have the little green health and the little blue health. Those are actually, the green one is my food or my hunger, and the blue one is my thirst or my water. And as those bars, as you exert yourself, like I'm doing here, I'm digging, and it's worse when you're in the cold, just like in Alpha 18, but it's more pronounced now. But the faster you're going to burn through your health, or your food bar and your water bar, and once you reach a certain point where you're either hungry or thirsty, your stamina won't recover as quickly, neither will your health, even if you have the health perk. So it's very important that you keep your eye on those, and take whatever perks you can to minimize those things. But eventually you are going to you're going to need a vehicle. Now, another major change that they made in this alpha was the traders. First of all, Gen is smoking hot. And now the traders here are spawning in or on the edges of towns and cities, usually. I found one in the middle of a desert once, but other than that, they seem to spawn very close to town or in town itself, like right on the street like this one was. Up to, and including Alpha 18, you had no trouble finding the first trader because you got the quest that sent you to them. But after that, you were on your own. Now, after you complete 10 quests for a trader, they will offer you a special job to open a trade route and send you to another vendor. If you do this enough times, you'll eventually find them all, which makes progression a lot easier. Each trader is supposed to specialize in one particular kind of goods, like weapons or medical supplies, but so far I haven't seen that. And I think in the last developer stream I watched, they said they were planning to implement it, but they hadn't done it yet. Don't quote me on that. So here I am at my first vendor. As you can see, we're in the green in the forest biome, but we are right next to a winter biome, and this looks like the very northern edge of the town. So I suspect I'm going to be doing a lot of work in the winter biome. Now, I don't mind the winter biome. It's not a horrible place to play, but it's definitely not where I'm going to set up my base, because I don't like the freezing cold constantly affecting my stamina usage, and I hate those stupid mountain lions. I mean, they were a great addition to Alpha 18. I won't argue that, but I hate them. In Season 1, Episode 1 of my Zombie Dance Party, Day 1, whole lot of ones in there, I had my butt handed to me by a mountain lion just because I happened to be in a winter biome, and I've never forgiven the mountain lion clan for that. And once I'm properly geared, I have at least a 9 mil. I kill every mountain lion I can find. I won't let them pass. Even if I don't need meat, even if I'm not going to skin them and harvest them for meat and bones, I still kill them because I hate them. It's a blood feud. It's never going to end. So this is Trader Jen. As you can see, she is, yes, eyes up. Look up, everybody. Her eyes are up.
Remember
I know I have trouble with that myself.
Supplies.
You can see the jobs that they offer, by the way, the vendors offer, they seem to be offering more. Although, if I remember correctly, the dev stream I watched also said that they are aware that there are only 3 tier 5 missions that are currently spawning with the vendors. That's the Shotgun Messiah, the Shamway Factory, and the Burnt Apartment Building. I think there's supposed to be more, and they are aware of the problem, and they are going to be fixing it. At least that's what I recall. I could be wrong. Now I'm going to set up a temporary base of operations. This is not where I'm going to be, but it is where I'm going to be questing and scavenging and doing some leveling for the time being. Now, I did take a retrieve supplies quest. It's just going into a POI, a point of interest or place of interest, somewhere in the map. This one is 467 meters away, so it's not very far away. I like jobs that are close by to start, and I haven't seen anybody on YouTube that deliberately chooses the jobs that are far away. So here we are just about at the POI, and yes, it is in the winter biome, so we have lumberjacks to deal with like this big feller. And I do have the game difficulty set to, I think it's Nomad. It's the setting above Adventurer. Oh, wild mountain lion, get lost. I don't have a gun right now. I can take care of a lumberjack, but there is no way I can beat a lion with a mountain lion with a stone sledgehammer. By the way, that's the stone sledgehammer, and I've discovered a new love for that thing. The sledgehammer. I kind of ignored it in Alpha 18. Wasn't really a big fan of the sledgehammer, other than for cracking safes until I had a mining pick or an auger. But they do also have lock picks. But the sledgehammer was a lot of fun for breaking stuff, but I never used it as a weapon. And right before Alpha 19, actually during the streamer weekend, I started playing a new game to kind of get myself back into the 7 Days to Die groove. And I ended up using a sledgehammer as a weapon for a while. And wow, they made some, I mean, it was fun in Alpha 18, don't get me wrong, but they tweaked it a little bit. I think they did. I know that they reduced the amount of sneak damage that a sledgehammer does. I remember hearing them say that in one of the developer streams, but it's still, I mean, you hit a zombie in the head with a power swing on that, and I think you got about like a 50-50 chance of making their head explode. Even the lumberjacks, like just one-shotting them right in the melon, just ring their bell. It's awesome. I love it. So I've activated this first quest here, the locate the supplies. It's not very far away. It's only a tier 1. Then the supplies are in a relatively easy house to clear, but I like to get as much as I can. Of course, any player of 7 Days to Die is going to collect as much loot as they can. I've seen it's kind of a mixed bag as to people's opinions on being encumbered. There is encumbrance in the game. When you open your backpack, all of the darker gray boxes that have that little stick figure with a Santa bag over his shoulder, those are encumbrance. If you're carrying more items in your backpack than you have light gray boxes, you will be encumbered. See, like there. And if you're encumbered, you spend more stamina and you move slower. So the more encumbered you are, the shorter distances you're going to be able to move before you have to rest and just walk normally. Sprinting burns stamina. Sprinting when you're encumbered burns a lot of stamina. Sprinting when you're encumbered in the winter biome is a nightmare. Like you're hardly moving at all, and your stamina bar just goes so fast. Anyway, we're inside. We're shot. Ooh, oh, look at these. You see, these are the new crawlers. They redid the crawler. I think his name's Crawler Steve. Look at these things. They're so gross. They've got, I don't know if that's supposed to be their leg bones or if that's supposed to be entrails hanging off the back of them like that. They're just so disgusting. Oh, leveled up. All right. So we're looking for a courier satchel here. Where is it? No, that's not it, but always search cupboards. Food, very, very important. At the beginning anyway. I mean, you get to a point in the game where food isn't a problem for you anymore. Your survival isn't going to be hinged on whether or not you pick up that can of pears, but at the beginning, oh yeah. Well, you got to pick up every scrap of food you can. So I will fill my bag. I will fill my backpack with as much loot as I can carry. I know it slows me down. I know it burns my encumbrance, but the important thing for me, oh, I think that courier satchel is back here somewhere. The important thing for me when I go to the vendor, especially during the first week, oh, there it is, behind the old beer sign. During the first week, the most important priority for me is earning lots of dukes so that I can buy a gun. Because until I have a gun, I am exposed and very, very squishy. Once I've got at least either a 9mm or a shotgun, just a double barrel, I'm very reticent to go out at night. Once I have a firearm, okay, I'll go out at night if I have to. I prefer to, at least for the first week or so, I prefer to spend my nights clearing POIs where I know how many zombies are around, as opposed to wandering out in the darkness and then having them come sprinting up and I've got nowhere to go. Or dogs or wolves, bears, mountain lions, those accursed things. So, with the way they've changed the loot system, as I said, it's now gated to your level. Actually, it's gated to your game stage, technically. So, they've got four tech levels. Tech level 0, 1, 2, and 3. I don't know why they just call them level 1, 2, 3, and 4, but whatever. The first one, Tech 0, is game stage 1 through 11. So until you get to game stage 12, it doesn't matter what level you are, it's your game stage that matters, you're going to find garbage. You're going to find stone axes, stone sledgehammers, stone shovels. You probably aren't going to find wrenches and stuff like that. You are not going to find a pistol or even a double-barreled shotgun. You can find blunderbusses, I think. But the blunderbuss may actually be Tech 1, which requires game stage 12, I think. Because I don't remember seeing any blunderbuss really early on. But of course, if you find glue and you've got some short iron pipes, you can make a blunderbuss. They're really super easy to make. You don't have to have a workbench or anything. But I don't know what tech level they are. I do know that they did. I can't say I know for certain because I don't. But I'm pretty sure they tweaked the blunderbuss. It was a weapon that I pretty much disregarded in Alpha 18, typically because I'd find a blunderbuss and then 2 loots later I'd find a handgun or a shotgun, and why would I use a blunderbuss that has no magazine, has no ammo other than what it's currently got in its gullet over a shotgun, like 2 barrels, or a handgun with like 12 bullets. So it was very, very rare that I used the blunderbuss other than just for fun, because they even in Alpha 18 were a lot of fun, but they're even more fun now, and they make zombie head explode a lot. Their ammunition is cheap, and repairing them only requires a small iron pipe in your inventory. So I mean, they're really not that bad, and they're fairly easy to come by. I haven't found one yet, but I'm certain I'll find one, within a mission or 2 at the most. I should have a blunderbuss as well as, a decent stack of blunderbuss ammunition. So they are a lot of fun. And I'm pretty sure, I won't swear to it on a stack of Bibles or anything, but I'm pretty sure that the blunderbuss is controlled by the boomstick perk, which is under strength, I believe. So if you're planning on going, shotguns, and you're spending your early perks on boomstick, you'll see some benefit using the blunderbuss. Pretty sure. I'm not going to tango with that kitty cat, but I have completed the mission, so I need to get out of here and get back to the vendor. Get back to that sweet, sweet Jen. As promised, I'm leaving fully loaded. Ooh, look at that. There's an apartment building. Now, anybody that saw my first 2 seasons of Zombie Dance Party know that this apartment building, the red apartment, not the burnt out apartment that is the tier 5 quest, this red brick apartment building is one of my favorite locations to go through on the first night. If I can find this apartment building on day 1 in any town or any game, any playthrough that I'm doing, then this is my preferred first night. That's one of those HD zombies I was talking about. Look at that. Isn't he gross? He's got like pustules and everything on his neck, and they're disgusting. They're so awesome. Anyway, as I was saying, the apartment building is a good clear for the first night. I know the layout, I know the floor plan, and I know pretty much where all the zombies are or can be. And there's some really great loot at the top. Not to mention that, there's 4 apartments per floor. I think there's 5 floors. So that would be 20 apartments, each with a kitchen sink and a bathroom sink. So I'm almost guaranteed to find a wrench. Wrenches are very important if you want to be able to salvage cars, vending machines, street lights, and so on and so forth. Broken workbenches.
Congratulations. I can make my payment to the Duke
nice. Now. Well, I'll take shotgun shells. Thank you. Yeah, like I'm going to take an insulated mod over shotgun shells. Shotgun shells for the double barrel. I mean, if I ever find one, they are the shotgun is just brutal. Always has been, but I think they tweaked it for Alpha 19. There is a new shotgun in the game. I'm not going to go into it much right now because I won't see one for a while, but it's an auto shotgun. You heard me right. It's got a drum magazine. I think its base is like 15 rounds. So you got a whole lot of zombie loving before you have to reload on that thing. It's not rapid fire, and you can put the full auto mod into the shotgun to make it so that you don't have to keep pressing the mouse button to keep pulling the trigger. You just hold it down and it'll keep firing, but it's not a great cyclic rate. But if you want auto fire, a shotgun's not what you want anyway. So anyway, we'll get into the weapons as we find them. I don't want to spend too much time talking about them. So here we are at another one, and this is another locate the supplies quest. It's not a buried supply quest. I do love the new buried supply quests, but I do a couple of those. I'm going to show you, and I'll talk to you about them at that time. But here's another one of the. I think this is the janitor, but I don't remember a janitor in before this guy. I thought this was just today, yesterday, the 18th of July, when they released this new patch. They threw 2 new zombies in, or they redid 2 zombies, the biker zombie, and they added that guy, but I don't know who he replaced. So, either way, they look cool. Can't wait to see what they do with the nurse and the cheerleader. A couple of schematics there, that's good. Bicycle handlebars. Hey, it'd be cool if I got the bicycle schematic before I even had to spend any points on it. Then at least I could spend points on other stuff. Get the bicycle anyway. So here we go, clearing out this house. Like I said, the sledgehammer, it's much improved. I really enjoy using it. I do have the experience cranked up, I will admit. I normally play it regular 100%, but I wanted to see the higher progression faster. Not gonna lie. The my last playthrough, the last video that I put on my YouTube channel was Blood Moon 112, and each, as you know, or maybe you don't know, but each day of 7 Days to Die is a full hour, which means in that playthrough alone I had 112 hours invested in it. And you know, I was doing well, I was enjoying the game and everything like that, but you know, I didn't really get a chance to really build and explore a whole lot other than build my Blood Moon bases. So I set the experience gain to 300% for this playthrough, just to see, you know, how things went. If the game is too easy, or if it gets too easy too quickly, then I'll put up the difficulty setting maybe. I don't like increasing the difficulty of the game, because all it really does, it doesn't really make the game harder. It just turns the zombies into bullet sponges. They've got, you know, increased health. It's not like they're smarter or they're harder to hit or anything like that. So, I mean, really all you're doing is just increasing the number of bullets you have to hit them with. And once you've perked up enough, a headshot is a headshot. It doesn't matter how many hit points they have. You can instantly blow their head right off their shoulders. So you're not really doing anything, I don't think, anyway. So why make the game more difficult, I think. Now, as you may have noticed with this guy, when he broke out of the closet, he didn't just break the door and take a swing at me. They did... Ooh, look at that, he crapped a loot bag. I hit him so hard. They did make changes to the way zombies break out. I think they actually call it the breakout mechanics. They don't just break open a door and attack anymore. Sometimes they'll fly through the door, like they'll jump through the door, or when the door or the window or the wall or whatever breaks, when the panel breaks, they come flying out at you. It's really scary. I've jumped out of my seat a couple of times because a zombie did a breakout that surprised me and scared the living hell out of me. Sometimes they'll stagger, like that one did. Not that dude that I just made his head explode. Here's another HD zombie, by the way, another one of the ones they changed. So sometimes they'll trip and fall when they break out, and that's kind of cool because it gives you a chance, even though they scared the hell out of you, it gives you a chance to hit them or, you know, run away or whatever while they stand up and gather themselves. They can also, when they fall down, they stumble. They don't all just fall, land on their feet, and, you know, land, you know, hit the ground running, so to speak. And, you know, I mean, it makes it, I think, a little bit more realistic, but it also gives you an opportunity if you're being, you know, if it's raining zombies, you know, if they break through a false panel or something like that, it does give you a bit of a chance to escape if you're not going to be able to fight them. So here we are. There's the courier satchel. As you can see, one of the new changes to the Alpha 19 is there's that little flashing courier satchel sprite on your screen. And that is, you can actually set map markers, like when you put a marker on your map and save a location. If you track that, it'll show up on your screen as a sprite that'll show you the exact distance from the marker that you set. But you can also see, I've completed the quest, I have the satchel, so it's telling me to return to the vendor. And if you look on the left hand side of the screen, you'll see the exclamation point. It's also on your compass, but more importantly, it's on your screen, showing you not only the distance, but the direction, which I think is awesome. I love that they added that. When I first heard about it, when they were talking about it in the developer streams prior to release, I was like, really? People need that? But it's not so much a need as it's a really nice feature that makes, you know, life a little bit easier. And that knowing the distance is, to me, it's really important, because in Alpha 18 and prior alphas, you know, when I was doing a mission, I didn't know how far away I was from getting back to the vendor unless I opened it up on my map. And, you know, I mean, if you're working under a time crunch, if you're working under time pressure to get back before 2200, before they close, you don't want to stop to see how much farther you have to go. It's sort of counterproductive. So, See, and this is one of the instances I'm talking about. I know, even though I'm only like 250 meters away, because I know how long it takes to travel about 250 meters, I already knew I wasn't going to make it back to the vendor before she closed. Like, it's not that far away, but there's no way I'm going to make it. So what I'm going to do is, I didn't get the quest turned in, but I am going to lay down a bedroll in the apartment building and spend day one clearing the apartment building after I take care of these two yahoos. Ooh, puppy dog. Yeah, that's right. I like how the zombies and the animals sometimes fight. No, don't come after me. What are you doing? Oh crap, I'm bleeding. Oh boy, this is bad. This is bad. Close the door. Stay away from me, puppy. Now, they did change the injury system as well. You take critical injuries now, which include sprains, either sprained arm or sprained leg. You can have broken bones. There's nothing you can do to treat sprains. You used to be able to use a splint to fix a sprained ankle or a sprained leg in Alpha 18, but you can't do that anymore. I don't know if you're supposed to be able to, but you can't. Broken limbs, you heal with either a splint or with a plaster cast. And what those do is they don't instantly heal you. They shorten the amount of time it takes for you to heal. One of the important things to note is when you take a critical injury, like an abrasion, there are abrasions, deep lacerations, sprains, broken bones. If you sprint, jump, or perform strenuous activities, like, say, for example, swinging a pickaxe, you can actually make your injury worse. In one game, I died. I was nerd poling up to scout around, but I had a broken leg. That's why I was nerd poling up to scout around, because I was trying to find a place to hole up. And I just kept jumping and dropping block, jumped and drop a block. Like, everybody that plays 7 Days to Die and pretty much any other game knows what a nerd pole is. Well, I was doing that, and I wasn't paying attention to my health. And because I had a broken leg, every time I jumped, I took hit point damage. And I ended up dying. And my backpack landed on top of my nerd pole, way up in the air. And I was like, what the hell just happened? And what had happened was the critical injury caused me more injury because I hadn't healed it. Now, I think if you have a broken leg and you fix it with a cast or with a splint, I don't think that you lengthen your healing time by sprinting or doing strenuous activities. And I don't think you take any damage for trying to do those activities. But, again, I won't swear to it. It is possible that could happen. So, we'll have to try and remember to investigate that. Now I'm inside the apartment building here. As you see, I've set up a campfire, and I did pick up a little bit of blunderbuss ammo. I don't have a blunderbuss yet, but I do have blunderbuss ammo, so that's a good sign. If you're picking up the ammo, I'm pretty sure that means that you've got the game stage for the gun itself. But I also noticed that one of the things I've got is an infection. And I don't have anything I can cure that with at the apartment building, so I'm going to run back to my house. I know I've got a jar of honey there, at least one. And as long as the infection is 5% or lower, a jar of honey is all you need. Now, if your infection is between 5 and 10%, you can either drink 2 jars of honey, or you can take 1 herbal antibiotic. And if it's any higher than 10%, you need to take regular antibiotics. Now, I don't know if, I assume at some point you die if you have an infection that you don't treat, but I don't recall ever having done that. I know I've let it get as high as about 40%, but then I ended up, on that particular occasion, I ended up dying, which, of course, on the plus side, no more infection. So I'm running back to get that honey before that infection goes over 5%. And as you can see there is a Poopy Pants daycare right beside there. So I'll be snooping in there because they've usually got bookshelves. And, oh, crap, mountain lion right in front of the vendor, which is right across the street from my house. That is not cool, Mr. Cat. I need to get into my house I don't actually need to get into the house because all I've got is a chest on the front of on the driveway wall there, the retaining wall. But that's where my honey is, and that stupid cat is just patrolling back and forth. I'm going to go around the vendor, see if I can get at it from the other direction, because I really need that infection to go away. I know that as the infection gets worse, the higher it gets, the more it affects your attributes. I don't exactly know how, because I haven't really paid attention to that, because I get an infection and I try and cure it as quickly as I can. I don't like having those sticking around for too long. Generally speaking, the only time I don't cure an infection is when I don't have anything to cure it with. I'm going to run around here. Stupid mountain lion. This is the one thing I really hate about the winter biomes. And I only really hate it, early game. Once I've got guns, I don't care. If I had a shotgun or I don't know if I would try it with a blunderbuss, because the blunderbuss is fun, and they are funny, but they did beef up the animals, pardon the pun, somewhat as far as health goes. I know the bears got a really nice health boost, because apparently bear hunting was a thing. Oh, damn it, the lion spotted me. Oh, all right, I'm going to try and outrun him. Normally this would not, in real life be possible, but I'll just climb up here and... Oh. I guess he lost interest. I didn't smell delicious enough, I guess. Oh well. I guess I'll clear out this house for day one nighttime instead. I guess. Now, one of the things that, one of the new changes, of course, is lighting. As you can see, it's no longer gamma. You can't adjust your gamma now. It's just called brightness. I've got it set to full on bright. And it's still dark. A headlamp or, another source of light is still a good thing. But you're able to see. I mean, it's far more realistic, I think. And I'm going to use the bow here. I'm not a fan of the bows. I like the crossbows, but I don't really like the bows all that much in archery. But it lets me get in a sneak shot. I don't have any other ranged weapons, so I'll use this for the time being. Now you notice there on the left side, directly above my stealth, I've got the timer, the orange hand, and it says 1 hour and 53 minutes. That is, I believe, that is a sprained hand. It might be, I'm pretty sure it's the sprain, because I used the bandage, or the healing bandage, the aloe vera bandage, and it didn't shorten the healing time. So I'm pretty sure that's a sprained hand. Now the infection, the very top one on the left-hand side there, you can see the biohazard symbol, but you also see that sort of smiling face beside it. That means that it's being treated, and that's going down, as you can see. But the sprained hand, I've got 1 hour and 52 minutes, and I imagine if I were trying to use my shovel or a pickaxe, that I would be increasing that timer. And eventually I would either break my arm or break my hand, or just start taking hit point damage. I'm not sure what the consequences are when it's orange. I know when it's red, that means that you're going to make you're going to take damage. You're going to make the condition worse. I know that. I'm not sure what the orange means. So I don't know. We'll try and keep an eye on that. But as you can see, it's a real-time timer, real lifetime timer. It's not game time, hour and 51 minutes. It's an hour and 51 minutes of real lifetime that I have that injury. And it could be that just, that injury means that if I get attacked by a zombie or an animal or whatever, and, they continue to inflict that type of critical, that they will eventually turn it red, and then it'll be broken or seriously damaged. So got to keep my eye on that one. So I'm just going to snoop around the house here, see what goodies I can find. Obviously I'm looking for a blunderbuss or some other kind of, firearm. I would love a 9mm RNG gods. I really would. Oh, there's a nurse. Sledgehammer love. Let's see what else we got up here. Oh, medical pile. What do we got? Oh, a couple empty jars. Really? All right. Well, water is a thing. You need water. They don't have food poisoning anymore. It's all just kind of, they wrapped it all into dysentery. You can get dysentery from eating bad food, rotting meat, raw eggs. You can still get dysentery from drinking, even boiled water can give you dysentery. The crystal water, I don't think, the crystal purified water or whatever doesn't. Oh, nice headshot. You don't get dysentery from everything, but you can get dysentery from food. They took the dysentery away from cooked foods, I think. There might be a few of the lower end cooked foods that you can get dysentery from. I'm not 100% sure. But they've also added some really, really great buff foods. Candy as well. You actually, earlier on when I was at the vendor earlier, I did buy some candy. You can see it on the very right hand side of my... Oh, go away. And of course, that particular one, I think it's called Skull Crusher or something like that. I can't remember the name of it. But it is, it increases your melee damage. That's why I bought it, because I knew I was going to be using the sledgehammer and or knife and or club for a while. So I bought that candy to increase my melee damage, but I always forget to eat it. The duration isn't very long. So I think I'm going to save that for, a serious zombie attack, or if I run into another animal and I can't get away, maybe I'll try and down that candy before I try and fight them. Who knows? I bought it. There's other candies as well. There's one that increases stealth damage or sneak damage. Sorry. That one's a good one. I think it's called Covert Cats. There's one for mining. It's called Rock Candy or Rock Buster or something like that. And it increases I don't know if it increases the amount of damage you inflict to a block, like a terrain block when you're mining, or if it increases the yield. That's not 100% clear to me. So, but there is a mining candy, and there's one for negotiation, for bartering. You get better prices, called Sugar Bums, I think, or Sugar Butts. There is a health bar that increases your stamina a little bit, gives you a little bit of food. I think all the candies give you a little bit of food, but not a lot. But the health bar shortens your healing time, which is a really big thing. And I think it also reduces your chance, or gives you more critical damage resistance, I think. I don't use that one very often. There's another one that I really am a big fan of called Jailbreakers. And what it does is, for anybody that's, tried picking locks and tried opening one of them gun safes or one of those really big 10,000 hit point lock boxes in the better POIs, and you've got a stack of 18 lock picks and you break every single one of them trying to pick the lock. Really frustrating and irritating. Jailbreakers gives you 100% chance of picking a lock without breaking the lock pick. So if you've only got one lock pick and you've got a Jailbreaker candy, you down the candy and you will not break your lock pick. You will pick that lock. Very handy for finishing off a POI without having to go back. Or if you if you get into a POI that has a lot of safes in it. I think the post office has a lot. Bank used to have a lot, but they cut that number down quite a bit. The vault doesn't have anywhere near the number of safes. Actually, I don't think it has any safes in the vault now, unless I'm missing something. But I think the post office has a few safes, and that apartment building, the red brick apartment building, has 3 safes on the top floor. So if you have a Jailbreaker candy and a lockpick, you can, obviously you can really shorten the time that it takes to get into those safes, and they are really handy. but I'm spending too much time on that candy. What else is there? There's one for explosives damage, atomic heads or something like that. I can't remember. I don't use explosives very much. I've used a few grenades. Never really been a big explosives guy. So I don't generally tend to buy those candies. I did in my last playthrough. I stockpiled all the candies I could find in every vending machine. Just 'cause. You never know. But there's one called eye candy. That's a really, really good one. It increases your loot. I don't know if it's just how much loot you get or if it increases your loot similar to the way Lucky Looter does, or a combination of the two, but anything helps, obviously, especially when you're looting. That's a good candy to have one of. I generally don't bother buying or keeping or stockpiling those until I'm doing the tier 5 quests, because every tier 5 quest has, a major loot at the end, and I want to increase my loot value as much as I possibly can by the time I'm at that stage. So maybe I should start doing that at the lower stages. I might get more money earlier if I do. Because as I said earlier, my primary focus right now is getting levels and experience, obviously, but earning enough dukes to buy a gun. So, I don't know, maybe if I invest the 100 dukes, I think it is, at the vending machine for the eye candy, if I find it, well, maybe I'll get money for a gun sooner. I don't know. As far as I can tell, you can find candy in loot, and you can buy it in the vending machines. You can't buy it from the vendors that I'm aware of. And there's also another one for the stun batons. Sorry, get back to the candy real quick, or the different candies. One you can do with the stun batons, and I believe that what it does is it turns your charged stun attack into an AoE. Like, it'll hit all the zombies in an area. Oh goodness! Oh my god! 4 zombies! Oh no! Oh! Oh, can I? No, that's not safe. Ow! 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 Oh, I'm bleeding! I'm bleeding! Bleeding out of stamina. Oh no! Dead. And crap. Alrighty. Well, as I said, I'm not perfect, and I do die, and there is my first death. At least it wasn't on day 1. At least I waited until day 2 to die my first time. Alright, so we got 3 more to get. Oh, that's why it was still nighttime. They were runners. Now it's daytime. They're all slow again. Thank goodness none of these 3 is feral, because I don't have all my gears in my backpack. I don't have anything to heal or... Oh, I can't believe you suckers fell for that. I switched to the club because it's lighter on stamina. I set up a bleed with the knife there. Somebody was saying that they wanted, and this was, I was watching one of the dev streams, and I remember one of the people that was watching the dev stream, they were saying that they wanted some kind of indication that there was a bleed on the zombies. And if I'm not mistaken, the Fun Pimps did add some kind of character or bleeding animation to the zombies, because I'm pretty sure I saw it there, and I don't know if I was just seeing things or what, but I think that they may have given the zombies some kind of visual bleeding effect, so you know when you've put a bleed on them. It would be nicer if you could see how many stacks of a bleed you've put on them. But, oh, there we go. Got ourselves a blunderbuss. Oh, nice. Picked up a barbed wire mod for a club as well. I think it'd be good if you could put that on the sledgehammer. That'd be a lot of fun. But I do have a club, and I will use it occasionally, so yeah, I'll put the mod on that. Alright, morning. It's time to go and turn in. They introduced I think it was Alpha 18 where they actually introduced death penalties. You lose some experience. Oh yeah, hello, 200 rounds of 9mm. Yes, please. But anyway, death penalty. you lose like I think it's you lose 10% of the experience for your
I hope
level,
you come back
and if
see me
you're
sometime.
if you're not if you haven't earned 10% of your level's
You need some
experience,
work?
you don't lose a
Fantastic.
level,
Hope to see you
obviously,
soon.
because then they'd have to take away like whatever last perk you spent was, and I imagine that would be a programming nightmare. So what they do is you incur an XP penalty, and you have to earn the experience equal to the 10% before you can continue leveling. Obviously, when I've got my experience gain at 300%, it doesn't take very long to burn off that penalty, but it is, there is some of a little bit of a penalty for dying. Nothing huge, but enough that you don't want to do it too often. Now, I did get a buried supply quest here, and this is one of the times when the winter biome really shines, because you see that yellow circle. Well, it starts out fairly big when you've got either the buried treasure from the treasure maps or the buried supply treasure quests. And when you're in the snow, even, early game, haven't invested a lot of points, don't have good tools, you can break the snow blocks with one shot with a stone shovel, as you saw I was doing there. And without perking into the treasure hunter at all, when you break 10 blocks of terrain within the circle gets smaller. So, and it does that until you eventually zero in on the treasure, as you can see there. But in the winter biome, that's really easy, because you can make that circle really small before you ever start digging into the actual dirt, which takes like 3 or 4 swings with the shovel. And they're a lot faster in the winter biome to get those done. Of course, the trade-off being your freezing. As you can see, I've surpassed that level 5 protection. Oh god, I love that. I just hit 2 zombies with one shot. Oh, and I killed them both too. Nice. Sometimes the zombies play possum. They lay down for a little while, or they're stunned when you knock them down like that, but they get back up. They're a pain. But yeah, the buried treasure quests are a lot easier in the winter biome, because you can break the snow, so you get kind of an early start on it. But when you're doing the buried treasure quests, here's something that they changed, and it's something I think was a big surprise to a lot of people, and it was a surprise to me as well, but I think it's fair. Is the buried treasure quests that you do for the vendor, the chests aren't locked. But when you find a treasure map and you go to those ones, that chest is locked. So you have to remember to either bring lockpicks or be prepared to bust it open with some other means. So the trade-off, of course, is when you do the vendor buried treasure quests, you will spawn, depending on the level of the buried treasure quest, you will spawn zombies as soon as you actually loot the chest. Not when you open it, when you loot it. So you take anything out of the chest and you will spawn zombies very nearby. You can either jump out of your hole or climb out of the hole that you've dug and run, or, do like I do and collect some extra XP. I mean, why not? It's free XP, basically. So here we are doing another buried supply quest, and again, as you can see, I'm one shot breaking the snow on the very top layer, and it counts as terrain blocks being broken, so the circle gets small really fast. This is handy. I like this. It's almost like having the treasure hunter perk, but without actually having to spend the points on it. Boom. There we go. I'm just now digging into the soil, and look at that. There's the chest right below the center of the circle. I'll grab all that stuff. Ooh, mushroom spores recipe. That's a good one to get early on. Now all I need to do is find 5 mushrooms. Bonk. Oh, look at that. Both of them hit again. Ah, but I didn't kill them this time. Nope, I killed them that time. So, I either one-shot each of them in the head, or I two-shot 2 of them and killed them both. This is the new soccer mom, by the way. She's hideous, but awesome. How did I miss that dude? It's right in front of my face. Ooh, a puppy. I got a gun. Come here. Come here, mutt. I need some meat. Uh-oh. Oh, no, I think that's a dire wolf. His eyes are glowing red. Oh, crap! No! You. And I can say this, son of a bitch. Alright. So, clearly a blunderbuss is not enough to take on. Pretty sure that's a dire wolf. So, I'm just going to try and get in there and get my backpack and get the hell out of Dodge. By the way, I didn't show you the corpse run back, but I did respawn on my bedroll, and the bedroll's right across the road from the vendor, so I turned in that buried treasure quest. Okay. No. I can't beat this. Oh, crap. Let me just get my stuff. Let me get my stuff, and I'll leave you alone. This is your road. Fine. Oh, damn it. Oh, okay, that's 3 deaths. 3 deaths in a single 24-hour period. And now there's a freaking bear? Oh. Well. I mean, I knew I wasn't going to be able to take on the dog, but now a dog and a bear? Yeah, this calls for super coward. Let me get my crap and get the hell out of here. Thank goodness they wandered away. Alright, let's go back. Run. See what I mean? Winter biome completely burned my stamina just trying to get out of there, and I'm not even encumbered. Okay. I didn't clear the apartment on night number 1 like I wanted. My goodness, there's some food. Thank goodness they took away that food poisoning, because, yeah, early game when all you've got is some charred meat and eventually grilled meat, and after that, if you're lucky, boiled meat. I say lucky because the boiled meat gives you food and water without the chance of dysentery. But yeah, it's nothing is worse early game than getting dysentery and starting to crap water and not having enough water to stay hydrated, so your stamina is always down. So I didn't get to clear the apartment on night number 1, so I'll just do it now. These apartment buildings offer so much. I mean, you've got, like I said, you've got, what is it, 20 apartments, that's 40 sinks. So good chance of wrench, also a good chance of, I'm virtually guaranteed to find a wrench. If you don't find a wrench in any of the 40 sinks that you loot here, then there's something seriously wrong with your RNG. I don't think I've ever left this apartment building with less than 2 or 3 wrenches. But you can also get acid. Acid is a critical ingredient because there are very few places to find it. Eventually you can get a book that will let you loot it from, I think, cars and possibly medical piles or medical equipment. Possibly even medical boxes. But early game, and until you find that book, the only places you're going to find acid are under sinks. And acid is a key ingredient in both Recog and the Grandpa's Learning Elixir. And those are our 2 buff drinks that are, in my opinion, like necessary for leveling and for survival. The Grandpa's Learning Elixir, they've nerfed it. It used to, I think originally it doubled your XP, and I think, again, I'm not swearing to any of this, but I think at Alpha 19 release, I think it buffed your XP gain by 50%, but I recently looked at it again during my last Blood Moon video, and it actually only buffs your XP gain by 20% now. So that has been nerfed, but it's still, 20% is still 20%. If you earn 100,000 experience points, wouldn't you rather have 120,000? The Recog is really good because it increases your ranged damage, your guns, bows, you know, anything ranged damage. I don't know if that counts grenades or not. I mean, technically it's a ranged weapon, but it's also an explosive, and there's something else for that. So the recog does buff your gun damage, definitely, and that is very, very helpful when you're dealing with, you know, the blood moons, particularly with all those zombies. You want to kill them as quickly as possible before they overwhelm your base. So increased damage, never a bad thing. And you need acid for both of those. So I like this apartment building for wrenches, the loot on the top, acid, and also another thing that's very important that you'll find a lot of in these apartment buildings is food. Canned foods, a lot of it in the cupboards. Every cupboard in every kitchen, and I think it's only in the kitchens. I don't think there are any cupboards in the bathrooms. Could be wrong, but all of those cupboards that are lootable in the kitchen can spawn food, cans of food, and you should not leave the apartment building starving. Now, of course, there are zombies in the building, but they are almost all the zombies. There are a few that are like they spawn in the hallways or in the stairwells and whatnot. There are a couple of them that are just kind of free-floating, or they spawn in an apartment, one of the units that doesn't have a door. But most of them are contained in a apartment that either has the door closed and locked or boarded up. Like this guy. Oh, geez, there's two of them in there. Okay. Cheerleader and whatever that guy is, Spassky or whatever. Okay. You can see I put that barbed wire mod on the club. Nice head explosion. The barbed wire mod on the club, by the way, gives you a chance to inflict bleed damage. So the same as the deep cuts from the knife, except when you're using a club. And of course, the nice thing with the club is there's a chance you can knock your opponent down with it. Can't knock him down with a knife, I don't think. But I think the bleed is probably better on the knife than it is in the club. But who cares? Bleed is a bleed. Give them a smack, make them bleed, and then, you know, back up and recover your stamina while they bleed to death. It's awesome. So I'm just going to search. For whatever reason, I don't know why. It's a Hollywood joke, I think. But for whatever reason, very oftentimes you can find, assuming your game stage is high enough for it to be unlocked, but very oftentimes you can find a 9mm handgun, usually only a rank 1 or a rank 2, but handgun nonetheless. Ooh, a couple of nice schematics. In toilets in these apartments as well. And again, four apartments per floor, 5 floors, 20 toilets. You got a better than average chance of finding a handgun if your game stage is high enough. I don't believe mine is yet. Look at all these cupboards. Oh, empty jars and jars of water, of course, are also. Oh, there's, see there, acid. I love the humor. I don't know if it's intentional, but it probably is. But the humor that the Fun Pimps guys have, you can find lead in sinks, and I think that's hilarious because back in earlier parts of history, before we knew that lead was bad and that you could actually get lead poisoning, which was incredibly harmful. But plumbing, the water pipes they used to use to bring water into apartments and stuff was made of lead. And of course, so the Fun Pimps have given you the ability to pick up lead when you loot under sinks, which I think is hilarious. I'm not sure how many people catch that, but I caught it, and it was good. Oh, and that was another thing I wanted to, another perk or benefit I thought, I know about that I forgot to mention with doing the buried supply quest in the winter biome is you get snowballs. And I know that sounds stupid and useless, but there's nothing in 7 Days to Die that you can pick up and or loot that isn't of use in some way. Snowballs are no exception. You can take a snowball and an empty jar at a campfire. I think you have to have a cooking pot. But you can make murky water, which is fantastic because you don't have to take a bunch of empty jars to a swimming pool or another water source or a lake or a river and fill them up and then take them back and boil them. You can just take, the snowballs that you're going to get anyway when you're doing the buried treasure quest or the buried supply quests, and a bunch of empty jars when you're at your base. Make a bunch of murky water. Yes, essentially you have to cook the water twice. The first time to make murky water, the second time to make boiled water. But who cares? You've got water, and it's it's a big stack of I don't know. I think the snowballs stack is like 6,000. I don't think I've ever seen myself carrying 2 stacks of snow. Uh-oh. My axe needs repairs. Oh, crap. I hit the scrap button instead of the repair. Okay, well, I guess I'm breaking open a door with a sledgehammer. You know what? I'll just let him do it. Ooh, forgot to reload. That's something that streamer I mentioned earlier, Grand Spartan, he and I have that in common. We both forget to reload our blunderbusses all the time. It's not good. It's not good to do that. Say goodbye to your head there, chum. Blunderbuss is only as good as the ammunition you put in it, so if you don't put any in there, you're kind of boned. Can't believe I scrapped my axe. Search some cupboards while my stamina recovers. Nah, nothing spectacular. Ooh, I did get some 9mm bullets, so possibility of a 9mm pistol is in the offing. It's at least possible. Doesn't mean I'm going to get one, but it does mean it's possible. Ooh, nice. Upgrade to my skinning knife. Now I'm using the hunting knife instead of the bone knife. See, they changed the model for that, or I don't know, what do you call it, the model, the skin, whatever, the texture or whatever of the hunting knife looks way cooler. It looks like a Tonto almost. Alright, I'm getting pretty encumbered here, so I'm gonna go and toss some of this stuff away. Yeah, Mr. Lumberjack, I don't want you breaking down the door. Hang on, okay, one more. Right in the face. Yeah! What happened to your head? Looks like your neck just threw up. Okay, alright. Got my axe coming back. Well, at least I upgraded to a rank 3. I'll put this crap away. Blueberry seeds. I don't use blueberries very often. I mean, I know that they make blueberry pie, but I think you gotta make cornmeal, and then you gotta make, or you gotta have eggs. That's a lot of ingredients for a food that's really not all that fantastic, so I don't tend to use blueberries much, so I'll learn the recipe, because you earn experience for every schematic and every recipe you read. But I'll probably never plant the blueberries. I don't know. We'll see. And there was something that was a change they made. I think they did it in 18 in anticipation for 19, possibly. But you can scrap the dyes, the colors that you can find on gear. You can scrap those dyes and make paint, as opposed to having to cook paint in the chemistry station with, I think it's chrysanthemums. Instead of cooking the paint and wasting flowers that you could use to make filtered water, you can just scrap dye and make paint that way, if painting is your thing. I don't usually do it very much. I might this game, just because I plan on this being a long game, and since I'm gaining triple XP, I'm going to level faster, so I'll have more time for for home improvements, I guess, if you will, than I usually would spend. So maybe I'll spend some time painting and color coordinating. Who knows? We'll see. Oh, there's another jar of honey. That's a good thing. Cooking pots. Very valuable. Ooh, hello. We got a corn seed recipe. That's a gooder. That's one that I'll use because corn is something that you use a lot of. And I don't know if this was in 18 and I just never paid attention, but I do know now that super corn, if I find one of those Bob's Boars or whatever, I call it Graceland because of the pig in the basement. But there's a huge crop of super corn growing in the basement. So before I find one of those, I have to make sure I've got at least living off the land rank 1. Rank 2 would be more preferred. But I want to have at least rank 1 so that I'm getting 2 plants every time I harvest. Because the super corn, again, I don't know if this was an 18 or not, and I just didn't pay attention, but you can actually use super corn and murky water at a chemistry station to make glue. Glue is what you need to make duct tape, and duct tape is life in 7 days to die. Almost all the good recipes require duct tape. So, just so you know, I missed this, but I did want to explain this. I'm not going to finish clearing this apartment building by 2200 if I don't get my button gear. So, one of the ways that you can do that, and I've done this quite a bit. I usually have a much better gun than a blunderbuss before I do it. But you go to the top floor, fire a gun, and every zombie that's still in the building that is sleeping wakes up, and they come after you. And that doesn't sound like a terribly good thing, but believe me, when you want to have all the zombies out of here before 2200, I have 58 minutes left of game time, or of in-game time left before these guys are all sprinting. And if I can clear this apartment building while they walk, I'm much happier. Oh, hello, Mr. and Mrs. Jones. See what I mean? They're so much easier to deal with when they're walkers as opposed to runners. This is Arlene. I used to call her Patty. But apparently her actual zombie name is Arlene. Oh, she's mad. And headless. Oh, these zombies are so much fun. Oh. No. Oh, crap, I shot it. Oh, ouch. Okay, that's enough of that. Hey, will you cut it out? There. Just take your head off. See how damn smart you are then, lady. And your boyfriend. Ah! Oh, crap. Man, they just keep coming. Normally what I do when I do this, when I wake up the whole building, is I hide out I just stand there in the top floor in one of the apartments there, and I just let them filter in and blow them away as they come through the door, but I don't have a decent gun. All I've got is this blunderbuss. This was probably not the wisest of things, but waiting until 2200 and they're all sprinting would have been a bigger pain in the butt, so. Again, point blank, and I miss. It's probably because I aim for the head, and when I actually go to click, I think I pull back on the mouse a little bit by mistake. I think that's all of them. If not, it's pretty darn close. See, if I get all of the zombies out of the building, cleared out of the building by 2200, then I can loot. I can clear the loot out of this place without worrying about attracting wandering hordes. because looting is nowhere near as loud as bonking zombies and blowing their faces off. Oh, there's one. Where'd you come from? Oh, I'm not on the top floor. I thought I was on the top floor. Oops. Another one of the benefits of doing this, of waking up the entire building all at once, is you wake up all the zombies. Like I said, all the zombies in the building that are sleeping wake up. And if they're behind a door or plywood or whatever, they'll break it open. So what you end up with is a whole lot of your work is done for you because the zombies have cleared out all the doors. Now, if you're later game stage, or if you're at the point where you found the book that I think it's Wasteland Treasures, but I don't know which volume. But it's one of the books that if you read that, when you destroy doors, you get a doorknob, which is free brass. And believe me, you need all the brass you can get in this game unless you're playing a melee build. So, I mean, that technique or that tactic of waking up the entire building with one shot on the top floor. Oh, hello. That doesn't work very well once you've got that book if you're after brass, if you're looking for doorknobs, because the zombies break most of the doors in the building. But if you don't care, or if you're not at that point, yeah, this is typically where I'll go. The treasure room, the loot room, the loot apartment, where the big gun safe is. I just see that one board there that the zombie broke out trying to get out of there when I woke up the building. I just stand on the other side, or stand on this side of that board in that hole there, and I just gut them down as they come through the door. The entire building will come through that door. It's really a handy way to clear the building quickly. Oh, there's some glue. That's good. Glue makes duct tape. So, yeah, the apartment building is, I'm pretty sure it's clear. There may be the occasional wandering zombie outside that might hear me up here, but I'm on the 5th floor, so I think I should be pretty safe. I'll crouch anyway just to be on the safe side. Not that it helps, as you can see there you go. Now that I'm not beating on metal, my sound, or my total detection concealment is a lot lower. So we got a shotgun Messiah, 2 shotgun Messiahs, and it looks like a working stiff crate. Well, this has potential for goodies. Shotgun Messiah, of course, you get the opportunity for weapons and mods and ammo. Oh, repair kits. Nice. Hey, working stiffs gave me an anvil. Sweet. All it needs a forge. Hey, that was a pretty good haul. Okay, now I gotta beat on the safe for like ever, because I didn't buy any jailbreaker candy. So yeah, that felt like 10 years. Oh, another blunderbuss, 2 blunderbuss, some more ammo, some 7.62. Oh, by the way, that Grand Spartan guy, great guy, love his streams, but he makes my sphincter curl every time he melts. He smelts 7.62. He doesn't generally use 7.62 weaponry, apparently, so he smelts it for brass, and it just... Oh, I die inside every time he does it, because I'm like, oh my god, sniper rifle, AK-47, M60, and now in the Alpha 19, one of the new weapons is an assault rifle. It's like, oh my god, you're killing me, Spartan. You're smelting 7.62. I used to sell or vendor 44 ammunition because I hate the 44 Magnum. The 6-shooter, it might even only be a 5. I'm not 100% sure of that. But that's how little I use that gun. I very often I'd have one in my inventory so that I could get the better pricing, because you get the Magnum Enforcer book where you get something like 10% better bartering if you're holding a Magnum in your hand when you talk to the vendor.
Thanks for the business.
But that's all I ever used it for. I hated that gun in Alpha 18. But yeah, another new weapon for Alpha 19. They gave us an automatic 44. It's the Desert Vulture. I guess patent or copyright or something. They couldn't call it a Desert Eagle. I don't know. Whatever. The 44 Magnum auto handgun. It is, oh my god, is that thing, it's a nail driver. Like, you shoot a zombie with that, even with the regular ammunition, and they're hating life, and life, as it were. Hollow point ammunition on that thing is just beautiful, by the way. I've never used the AP on the Desert Vulture, but I'll have to give that a shot because the AP ammo is actually a lot of fun. Now, I don't know if Alpha 18 had these water barrels or wine barrels that you could loot, but they do now, and I think the only thing they ever contain is murky water, but you can find a lot of it, which is nice because then you've got boiled water and or glue material without having to jar up or bottle up a bunch of water. So I'm going to grab all these. Why not? I did take another clear quest, as you can see there. It's the Dumpin' Lung Coal Company, which, you know, again, fun pimps in their humor. I think they're really spot on with their humor. But first I have to kneecap this lumberjerk. Yeah, I bet that doesn't feel good, does it? And apparently he liked it because he came back for some more. That didn't kill him. I hate leaving things unfinished. Oh, there he is. I thought I was going to have to go out after him. Oh, yeah, look at that. Blunderbuss right in the crotch. Alright. I'm already encumbered. Haven't really done much, and uh-oh. I am starving. So as you can see, my hunger plate, fork, and knife thingy is orange there, and my stamina and well, I don't think it affected my health, but my stamina my max stamina has been reduced, and it will continue to go down if I continue to starve. The lower that green bar gets, the less stamina I'm going to have to work with, and it will recover slower. So I'm going to have to eat something here pretty quick. You'll notice I've gotten rid of, you know, the sledgehammer and stuff like that on my toolbar. And what I've got, it's toolbar, belt, whatever. I now have 4 blunderbuss all loaded. So I can fire 4 times in a row without having to reload if things get really dicey. That is a trick that I picked up from you, Grand Spartan. I don't want to take anything away from you. That was not an original Hive Tyrant idea. He ran around with 2 blunderbuss, but I've got 4, so I have no decent tools to put on my tool belt. So yeah, okay, I'll have 4 blunderbuss. Why not? So this POI is ridiculously easy to clear out. It's very linear. Some of the new stores aren't linear, like it's an open store kind of floor plan, and they're still pretty easy to clear out, but it's not linear like the I don't know if it was 17 or 18 where they introduced these missions. I don't know, but the POIs were very linear for the missions in a previous alpha, and they kept them that way for the 19, but the new POIs that they've added are open floor plan as opposed to linear, which is really cool. Gives you more freedom to go clear it out the way you want to, as opposed to here's the path, follow it, and you'll be just fine. But the Dumpin' Lung Coal Company is super easy to clear out. You can cheese the loot on this one, but I'm not going to show you how to do that. You can figure it out on your own if you haven't already. I'm sure somebody out there has a video on how to do that. Anyway, back to the action. Look at 3 shots and I missed this clown? Seriously? And I was aiming. Oh, ow. That wasn't very nice. Damn skater punk. Three shots and I missed. There we go. In your face. Okay. All of these zombies are dead. You know that you've completed the clear quest when it says return to trader. And if it doesn't say return to trader, that means that you missed some zombies someplace. And that is I I know that, you don't have to follow a line. You can develop your own system or your own path for clearing out POIs with the clear quests, the clear all areas of zombies quests. But if you follow the line that they intended, you're guaranteed to kill all the zombies. So it took me a while for the tier 5, the burnt apartment building. It took me a few times of failing that quest because I couldn't figure out where all the zombies were. There were some of the paths that weren't obvious. There was one, the Shotgun Messiah factory was a tough one for me because there was one broken window that you had to go out that I didn't see forever. It wasn't until I started replaying at Alpha 19. That's when I learned or realized that broken window was there for a reason. So I've finished clearing the zombies out. I'm going to grab some coal here because I'm ready to start making some forged iron. And I want to have fuel. This was another Alpha 19 change that I loved. Coal burns longer than wood now. Used to be the other way around. Wood would burn longer than coal in the forges and in your campfires, chemistry stations. But they fixed that. Because, I personally, many years ago, I used to work as a blacksmith. And we didn't use wood in our forges. We used coal. And there was a reason for that. Coal burns longer and hotter than lumber. So, I'm glad that Fun Pimps fixed that because I do a lot of mining. Mining is something that I really enjoy doing. So, I do a lot of it. So I end up with surplus of certain minerals, and coal is one of them that I always seem to end up with more of than any other. It's probably because, just about any resource that you dig up in any biome other than the desert is going to connect to a coal vein at some point. So I'm glad that they made it so that coal burns longer than wood because now it makes sense. Oh, hello. More ammunition. Can't turn down that. So I just grabbed some coal so I have something to burn in the forge once I've got a forge. So the restock is going to be on day 4.
Now that was a good deal. Trust me. I'm a doctor.
Yeah.
You looking to earn
not
some
too
dukes?
far away.
Thanks, son.
Oh,
I
we
knew
get to
you
go to
wouldn't
the
let me
booby
down.
trap. This is a funny place. I like this location. I can't remember what alpha it was that I found that I first found this. Oh, if you're going to use that vending machine, watch out for the landmine sitting right in front of it. So very often what I'll do in a POI, especially if I'm doing it during the daytime or if I'm in a hurry, is I'll do what I just did there when I walked into the booby trap. I'll ring the dinner bell. I'll walk in and I'll fire an unsilenced weapon to wake up as many zombies as I can, try and get some of the guys that were planning to ambush me, if you can handle a horde or handle a wandering horde or multiple zombies coming after you, that is the quickest way to clear out a POI is, just ring the dinner bell. Let them know you're there. I've done stealth runs, which is a lot of fun. You sneak through a POI. I actually have a video that I recorded. You guys, anybody that's watching this, if you want to see something funny and a lot of fun, check out the Shamway Factory video that I posted where I used only a machete because the majority of that whole playthrough, that whole video, I'm stealthing and killing zombies with the machete while they're asleep. And I'm pretty sure it was at night. I'm not 100% certain, but I think it was at night. And I cleared the entire Shamway Factory, which is a tier 5 clear out. I did it using only a machete. It was a lot of fun. So this is another change, tweak that they made for 19 is the vultures. They reskinned them so that they look even more disgusting than they did in Alpha 18. And they made them behave a lot more intelligently. Oh, there's one of those new bikers I was telling you guys about earlier. The vultures, they no longer just sit there and spin around or fly around your base like morons on blood moons, if you put a roof over your head and they can't get at you, they don't just sit there and patrol around. They actually attack. Like the zombies, they will break any block between them and you to get at you. And it's not even just blood moons. That's their behavior all the time. Like when you're doing a POI, or if you're out in the desert or whatever and you spawn a vulture and they come after you, if you hide inside until they despawn, they'll just sit there and they will attack the roof or walls of the building to get at you. So, you have to account for them now in your blood moon towers and in your bases. You have to account for vultures being able to, or being ready and willing to break blocks to get at you. I've seen a number of different ideas on blood moon bases on how to deal with it, but once I'm actually ready to build a base, I'll show you how I deal with the vultures, the new vultures, and all that. So I have done everything I needed to do here. I found the courier's satchel in the booby trap. So now and I've actually cleared out the loot out of the stripper cage, which I usually didn't do. I don't know why. I think it's because I never went up on the roof. Every other time I've done the quest in here, I've always just come in here, grabbed the satchel, and left. And I haven't done that many that were the booby trap. So, well, at least I didn't get an infection that time. All right. I lost count of how many quests I've done for this lovely vision of a lady. Weapon, flashlight mod, or a spear hunter, volume 4. Well, I don't use spears, but I'll take a book that gives experience over a flashlight, weapon flashlight mod. I never use weapon flashlights. I don't like them. I prefer the helmet flashlight, the headlight. Headlight. I prefer that one over the weapon because that light's always pointed where I'm looking. Where the gun mod, the gun light mod, the weapon light mod, when you fire, the recoil puts the barrel of the gun up, so there goes your source of light pointing up, or not where you're looking anymore, which is a little annoying. So I never use the weapon light mod. I'll take them if that's the best choice for a quest reward, but I just take them to sell. So as you can see here, I did actually bust out of the garage here, and I brought some boxes inside, and I do have a forge going now. So the next step is going to be to make enough forged iron to make a workbench. You need the workbench to make all kinds of stuff. There's a lot of stuff that you can make in your backpack without the workbench, but the really, really good stuff, you need the workbench for. Plus, and this is something I don't know if a lot of people know this, or if just the people that I watch on YouTube, if they don't know this, but you can actually, anything you can make in your backpack or scrap in your backpack, you can make and scrap in the workbench. Cobblestones. That's a big one for me, because when you're getting ready to build and you go out and you harvest, 5,000 or 6,000 stone and 5,000 or 6,000 clay soil to make cobblestone. That is going to tie up your inventory or your backpack crafting, one block of it at least, for a long time. Use the workbench. Queue up however many thousand cobblestones you want, but do it in the workbench, and then you can go about go out and do some looting, do some scrapping, do whatever, or craft other things that take less time, and you're not stuck with that really huge timer. Something else that I do quite often is I will have multiple workbenches. I mean, again, most players of 7 Days to Die will have multiple workbenches, but I'll try and build them early. The reason I do that is because, let's say I want to build with cobblestone, my first real base, and I'm going to need, 5,000 cobblestone. I can either queue up 5,000 cobblestone in my backpack and take forever to make it, or, divide it by 3, have 2 workbenches, and I'll queue up 1/3 of what the cobblestone I need in each workbench, and then the last third I'll queue up in my backpack. So in, literally 1/3 the time, I still have, that 5,000 cobblestone or whatever. It's really, really super handy. Now here's something that I don't know if this was in 18 and I just wasn't paying attention, but if you make the furniture blocks, which is cool, you can make boxes, crates, like that one that I put down there by accident. Or right next to it in the selection menu, when you hold down the E key, you can select a writable storage box. Now, previous games, and even in 19, when I first started playing in 19, until I discovered that writable box, I would have to make a sign that I would make the box, so I would spend 10 nails. Ooh, yeah, gonna pick up a bear here. I managed to find a gun, by the way. I bought it at the vendor for like 4,300 dukes or whatever. So now I'm putting the gun to use, and yes, there's another mountain lion, and now I have a gun, so no mountain lion is safe around me now. Anyway, I'd spend 10 nails making the box. Then I would spend 10 nails making a sign to put on the box, because when you've got 8 or 10 boxes, storage boxes, beside each other or in close proximity, you can forget which box is which or get confused. I do that, so I would make signs and put them on my boxes. Trouble is, if I was trying to get into the box in a hurry, I would oftentimes click on the sign by accident. So it ended up, it was always a pain in the butt. It was inconvenient a lot. And I didn't know about the writable boxes. I don't know when they put those in. I'm hoping they did it in 19 and that I wasn't just being, unobservant the whole time. But either way, no more signs on boxes, which is super, super cool. So I have another neat little trick that I'll show you guys when I build my base to maximize storage space. But right now I'm burning a whole bunch of bullets to get some very much needed meat and a whole lot of bones. Oh wow, flying dead bear syndrome. Cool. Come here, you little. Where are you going? Get back here. Yes, I'm very bravely standing on a wooden block attached to the side of the house, killing wildlife, because the bear takes an exorbitant amount of ammunition to kill. The wildcat, not as much, or the mountain lion, whatever. He doesn't take as many bullets to kill as the bear, but the mountain lions, they have a very good chance of setting a bleed on you when they attack. The bears can do a lot worse. I don't tangle with bears until I've got a gun. Actually, I think what I'm going to take away from this first episode, the lesson I'm going to take away is not to tangle with any wildlife without a gun. And something better than the blunderbuss, because that did not end well for me at all. So I'm going to do another zombie POI clear. This is still only a tier 1. These are all tier 1 quests so far. But I don't want to get myself too laden down with crap before I get to the POI. Ooh, another bear. Look at that. Get some more meat and some more bones. I'm happy with that. Set myself up another cheesy hunting perch. Oh, I'm not really sure I can consider it cheesing when you think that today modern day hunters, they don't hunt from the ground. Even they've got state of the art hunting rifles and all of this business. They shoot from tree perches. There's probably a reason for that, because bears are nasty creatures. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and shoot from here. Anyway, one of the things that I have noticed, the game, as you can see, I've got my FPS display there. And the game has been optimized very well. It runs a lot smoother than it ever did. Now, having said that, this latest build that they released yesterday, the 18th of July, the game does seem to run a little choppier than it did when Alpha 19 first released. So I think one of the changes or multiple changes that they made to the game did affect the optimization ever so slightly. But my computer is also, I mean, I'm recording and I'm playing at a fairly high resolution. So my computer also, it tends to run this game a little choppier when I'm in the winter biome. As you see there is that snowy, foggy kind of effect in the background there, and the burnt forest biome has a similar atmosphere or oh, look at that. Cannonball dog. That one's always funny. There's a landmine in the middle of that hallway, and the dog triggers it every time.